Last time on Nemes Content.
Okay, something seems off here. This isn't 60 FPS. That's odd. I may have questioned my sanity. So I just bought a PCIe to USB 3.0 hub. Look, sometimes the answer to your problem is just to buy something. So yeah, those are the trials and tribulations I had with this device.
But there was more. God help us all.
So there's a part 2. Because, you know, the moment you say, man, things are going great, is an invitation for the world to say, ha, bet. You know, it's funny. The original script for that video, Ezcap, story told at 60 FPS. That video originally had a bit where I was like, you know, I know I keep making big projects where I'm like gone for months at a time, but I need to make this video. And I cut it because, oh, the runtime's only like 10 to 15 minutes? Ah, too easy. Nah. Cap. So I get all the footage ready together, and I'm feeling really confident. I sit down at DaVinci Resolve, and I start editing the video. But what do I see, guys? What do I see? All the PS3 footage has a massive desync in it. Fuck. Okay, listen, I'm not proud about how mad I got over this, okay? But I need you to understand, you know, you attempt to solve this issue that you've been having for a while, and you think you solved it. So you decide, okay, you're gonna make a video on it. So you get the VO, you get the footage, and then you sit down to edit. And when you sit down to edit, you uncover more issues. It's like an allegory for my life. If you saw that video, you might have noticed that some of the footage is of the game Infamous for the PS3. Great game, I like it a lot. People actually wear masks in that game during a quarantine. I'm not bitter at all. But what you probably didn't know was I was using an HDMI cable, not the components to an HDMI converter. That's right, the Ezcap Gamelink RAW seems to have the ability to stripe the HDCP from the HDMI signal without the use of an active splitter. Even though, according to Ezcap's site, it shouldn't, so your mileage might vary depending on the device or firmware you have. But hey, I thought, great! This seems like an easy way for me to capture PS3 and upscaled PS1 and 2 footage. I can't wait to re-review Slay! And then, of course, desync PS3 footage. What's really annoying is that this only happens on the PS3. Or at least that's what I thought, because this also happens on the Wii, and it was probably happening on the PS2 as well. Which the PS2 has a really weird issue where, like, it actually captures the 240p signal. Probably has something to do with my converter pass-through thing that I'm using. But, yeah, it doesn't look the greatest when upscaling with that particular capture card. Yeah, probably want a RetroTink or something if you're gonna do that. However, as far as I could tell, this wasn't happening with either the Switch or the PS4. Right after I noticed this, I recorded some more footage in Infamous, and I didn't see any desyncing issues. Odd. Then I tried to record for like about 2 hours, and everything was fine up until the 1 hour 30 mark, which then it would be desynced.
Yeah, keep it up. Just need a few more picks.
And it only happened after a certain point, so I don't think it's a frame rate mismatch. That's a hard word to say. Mitch. I swear English is my first language.
Yeah. And Santa Claus shot JFK.
However, that's when I was playing Infamous. When I was playing any PS2 emulation, I could consistently get this thing to desync at the 10-minute mark. That was super annoying.
You lose.
I'm not even going to go through all the various ways that I tried in vain to get this to work. It didn't matter when I tried to record. It didn't matter when I reactivated the device. It didn't matter the settings or the ports I used. It didn't even matter if I used the component cables in the end anyways. time it would desync, and I felt like I was losing my mind. I was so defeated at this point, I just thought that I would start using the HD60 again, because, like, it was reliable, I knew it worked. I'd have to use the component cables for the PS3, but I was fine with that anyways. But then I would have buyer's remorse, proving my brother right. Then as a fluke, I decided to try Ezcaps, probably copied from somewhere else software. I was using OBS this entire time, and I prefer OBS, but maybe there's a specific issue with using it in this very specific scenario, and oh my god, I don't believe it. This is so stupid. It works in the software, the probably Chinese clone software. It works perfectly fine. Doesn't matter if it's the constant frame rate or the variable frame rate. I've tested both. It works fine. In the software, you know what? I consider this a win. Whatever, if I'm using the Ezcap software, fine, I'll use this. It's lame that it doesn't work in OBS, but there's a time where you have to call it. I don't want to be testing this thing all throughout my summer. It's time to put an end on this chapter, and just accept that if I want to record on PS3, I'm going to have to use the Ezcap software. It is time to put an end to this, and it is time to rest. But what about Linux?
Get in there.
I mean, I did buy this for my little Linux excursion, so the question is, does the capture card desync on Linux in OBS with my PopOS install? No. Both the recording I did in 30 FPS and 60 FPS, even in spite of the frame drops, are perfectly in sync. So, yeah. I don't know what's going on with Windows. Hey, Future Nemes here. I just discovered that this is the way of solving the Windows desyncing issue. Yeah. It seems that the video device capture source audio is bugged for older consoles with this device. Weird. Yeah, if you route the audio as a mic input or just add a separate audio source altogether, the video stays in sync. I don't have an explanation as to why or how this happens. It just does.
Is it really over?
I was gonna save this for part 3, but I figured if other people are having this issue, I might as well just share this workaround and see if it works for you. This is what worked for me. Let me tell you, it was pretty embarrassing finding this out, when the entire time I was doing that in Linux. RIP. Like, okay, with the first video, I could kind of take an educated guess of what might have been happening where I was getting the 21 FPS, right? Like, there's some logic behind that. I don't know what's going on here. I mean, like, if it's with the HDCP, right? Like, then why would I have the same issue with the component cable? And if it's a frame rate issue, why am I not having this issue on PopOS or with the Ezcap Gamelink software? I don't get it. I don't know if it's a UVC issue. I don't know if it's an OBS issue. It could be another USB on Windows issue again. Could I just be imagining this whole thing? I don't know. I feel like I've been in this hell for the last couple of months, and I might never, ever escape. I think Windows just hates this capture card.
Probably screw me up, send me on another mind trip.
But at least my curiosity is sated. I have ways to capture with this capture card. I can finally move on to other videos and put this behind me. Oh, there better not be a part 3.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Okay, so it seems that for retro game capture, I might still need to use Elgato anyways, because I came across another issue with my PS3 capture, and this also happens on Wii. And if you have a trained eye, you might actually be able to see it. The black levels are crushed, What this means is that not only is the image darker, you're actually losing color information because when you're capturing it, the levels are past the range. Like, just look at Sonic's forehead here. It's the void. I can hardly make out Hulk's face here. Once again, this only seems to be happening with my older consoles such as the PS3 and Wii. This isn't happening with my PS4 or Switch. I suppose the best thing I can do is use my Elgato HD60 for now for the PS3 and Wii, and use the Ezcap for everything else. It's not the most eloquent solution, but at least I know it works. And I could always upgrade to something later if something catches my eye. Okay, listen, it was on sale, it is justifiable, and I'm freaking curious if, like, come on! I gotta know!
The legend will never die.
There's gonna be a part 3. God damn it.